Well,
Oh well, okay. We got an echo of the music as we bring up the main screen. That's good. So two
so
technical errors. This is what happens when you take a week off.
we get rusty.
Yeah, for people so young. Yeah, so rusty for so young. Anyway, yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. There was a little bit of delay. They might still be on Colin's video, but it might catch up. If not, it's not like this is a visual medium. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I was
Anyway,
telling
how I
James
mean
earlier that it was.
we spoke last week, but it was on the main stage. So how have you been? How are your last? Well, I mean, what's two times 54 seconds? How are your last two times 27 seconds?
Just, I mean, it turns out time is a construct, so it's just been it's still the same buzz, it's still the same whiz by. It was fun. It was fun to do like a sort of immense down memory lane, as it
Mm.
were. It was good to see everything kind of stocked up and kind of lined out. It was quite cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, just been working away on the cards.
I'm surprised we haven't really done that before, but I kind of put them all together and shared them in the Telegram chat, and I'm like, this looks legit, which is good because we've taken some money from folks. So like, I'm glad, I'm glad we're not going to have to. Although I'd love to run off to Ecuador or something. I was really happy with that. It was a really fun. Of course, it wouldn't be a Fortune's Fools without some kind of technical error. And the way the podcast works is that it actually automatically uploads a non-video version to YouTube. And I kind of blanked on that because it literally took all day to put all the extra pieces together and the links to things and store and whatever. And when it was done, it was about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, which is when I finish work because I start before 7. And I'm like, right, done. I did the sort of Christina Aguilera click and, went and had a drink. And it uploaded the non-video version of it. And that took like half the
Oh,
views. So half the people chose. Anyway, so I deleted that video and now it looks like it's only got half the views and it's doing my head in.
so go and watch it
Yeah,
again.
exactly. Tell your friends, share it around. And just say, listen, the host fucked up, and so it would be a kindness. All right, let me
These
just
are the,
pop.
the joys of podcasting, podcast making.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it was really fun. Like you, like it was good to sort of mince down that memory lane and go, oh yeah, this is coming together really good. And also there was a few action items to get corporate speak about it that came out of it, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, I was looking at you posted the grid of the cards and the Telegram chat, and that was great to see as well because I just like took a note of like the colors and stuff like of where we're like sort of maybe spending on
Yeah.
color. But it all looked like it did it like we were like worried, is there too many night cards? Are there too many day cards? Is it too light? Is it too dark? But it was like a good balance of things. So
I think
it
so.
was very instructive. Yes.
Well, we've got like sun, moon, key. Well, we're doing the sun today, obviously, but we've got like sun, moon, key because it is probably and only slightly too dark, but which is fine because we've still got, these five or so cards to go, more than half of which are quite light. So I actually think it's funny. Creativity, I'm it's like that, especially like a long term project that deals with like archetypal depth, like an oracle card set, right? Uh, to some extent, we're both only working here. Like you lay it out and go, well, I know which bits I did, and I know which bits Colin did, but someone else did some stuff here, and that was kind of you put it together and go, oh shit, this is legitimately an oracle deck. Again, good because we took
Yeah.
some money, but yay.
You can pre-order them on your website on
Yes,
runesoup.com.
it doesn't
And
mean we don't have more to sell.
let's
That's a
take
very
some
good
more
point.
money.
Yeah. What else? What else? How were you? How was your week?
What did I do? What did I do? Took stock from the podcast. Was working on the Lily card, and worked a bit more on two other cards. We have the serpent and the scythe coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And that's gonna just be my week. Like that is like what I'll have. I think next week I will actually have done something social with people, with human beings. So
Amazing.
that's very excited to get that. I'll be very excited to have the field report back on that
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
But yeah, just sort of doodling away.
Yeah,
What
that
did you
sounds
get up to?
amazing. Well, not much. Certainly not this week because I've been fasting since Monday afternoon and it's Friday morning here. And I think I'm going to roll it out and do a full 7 days just because it's been years since I've done a 7 dayer. So I feel there's a real virtuous high that comes with it. People think you get hungry, but that happens about day 1.75 and then you're fine. Like then you actually adjust in a different reality, in a different cinematic universe, which is a term I invented because nothing nothing human makes sense. So like James isn't on the fast, so we'll sit there and watch TV of an evening or whatever, and he'll be eating and drinking, and it just looks like the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I don't know what maybe it's the time of year because well for us it's winter, so you like it's just carbs, it's food, it's like it's eating to survive, but also for comfort. And I just in my head I'm like, this is so much. It's so much sugar. It's so much like nothing like of nutritional value is going through my like sort of mouth hole, which is not great. And it's like, oh, why do my teeth hurt? It's like because you've done nothing but drink energy drinks and eat cheese for 6 days. So maybe I'll be joining you in a little
yeah,
fast shortly.
the temptation that pulls you out of the fast is that for the first time in the year, basically, or the season, we've actually had pleasant weather, so it's sort of warm in terms of the book. I think that would be good. But yeah, nothing else to report. We moved chickens out onto pasture and other such like pastoral, dare I say, early Lenormand activities. Out here. But no, that's life. Shall we? Shall we talk about? Shall we show the previous cards then?
Let's shall.
Let's shall. All right. I want to go with the scythe because we did chat about on the podcast, calling it like the HD or 4K remaster Lord of the Rings style, and just showing them both like this. You really see it, and like especially the background. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was so in the process of redrawing because these are like the this and the serpent card are just redraws. I've just taken elements and kind of traced and sort of done it. We have more pixels to play with, so I have more detail I can get in and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, oh, this is like the serpent card was Michelle Gomez, and you can't really see him. I spent all this time doing this face of this sort of rioter dude, and you really can't see his face because the part of the original concept was that we weren't supposed to anyway. It was supposed to be just you're supposed to see the like the just the sort of the top of the heads of the mob as they're sort of coming on. But it looked like another celebrity, and I was like, this is just the lawsuit deck, the lawsuit Lenormand deck.
Yeah.
um, but it's a lot of fun to redraw them because a lot of the a lot of the frustrations of the original 10 that we were having, it feels good to just work them out and kind of smooth everything over and kind of get it ready for where it wants to go.
And this one, would you say it was Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle, that's who it was, yeah. Like hot
Yeah.
young Don Cheadle.
You might as well share it in the group actually afterwards, just so
I
people
might
can
do
see
it. Yeah, 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 well
that you
do. Check it
accidentally.
in the
Yeah.
Telegram group.
No, I'm super happy with it. It's yeah, and it's fun. Like the space weather at the moment, it's a really good. The scythe card is obviously also the riot card in this the lawsuit Lenormand deck, and it's a really good moment in history to be working on a card like this. Again, it's one of those syncs that if we did another podcast, it's like, and we finished the scythe card um,
Oh, yeah,
during
that's
some
good.
historically large worldwide riots against tyranny.
Don't know what you're talking about. Haven't seen a stitch of it in the news.
Yeah, super happy with it. Super happy with it. I think it looks really good. Because that was one of the early contenders for like a poster, right? And it's a sort of weird energy to
Yeah.
have in the house. It's like, why do you have like a, some sort of North African riot as a poster in your house? And if you we do pick that one, the correct response to that question is why don't you?
Yeah.
But it has it's this is another one of those kind of like graphic novel high drama cards.
Yeah. I mean, people have apocalypse now posters and their homes. Like, why not?
People have that Le
Um,
Chat Noir in their house, all right? So
oh,
come
that's, do
on.
you know I have like I have a don't ask me why I have a compact. I think when I went to Paris when I was like 20, I have a compact that's Le Chat Noir that they sell on the street because they see us coming a mile off apparently. So I'll take that, cool.
I hope no one listening to this has a Le Chat Noir. All right. No, you should be shamed. There we go.
It's not great. It's sits in a shelf, and it's there to be to remind myself what not to do when traveling.
Well, speaking of traveling, we shall travel to the lily card, to basically the Amazon. And I actually really like the kind of like line drawing sketch, so I've kind of put them both together here. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so it was a pretty kind of straightforward composition from the chat. So like I knew exactly where we were going. Um, and it was just kind of fitting everything in. I think when I sent you the initial sketch, we decided the lily the flower had to be bigger. This isn't a finished one. It's like I have an issue with organic symmetry and things, or like everything, or like everything kind of has to be in some sort of pattern, and it doesn't flow quite the way the lilies are sitting and the paths are sitting. So that will all kind of be altered. But we managed to fit everything in, all the sort of story elements that we discussed. We got the little statue of Mary, sort of in a little garden. We've got the Lotus Hotel in the background.
Yeah.
So I was happy with getting the sort of mood and the color and all the components in. It just needs to be shiggled around to kind of make
Yeah.
it
It,
more pleasing to my eyeball.
I like the White Lotus, because again, one of the only shows that gave me life this year. So this is the Jennifer Coolidge card, and because it's just icons, and this is the lawsuit Lenormand, as you say, but like icons for every card. And it is actually the card for like older woman or parent who has adult children. So it like literally is the Jennifer Coolidge card. I think that works for her. So she's somewhere in there being racist to the help. In one of those, not actual Jennifer Coolidge. If you haven't seen the show, I hasten to add.
Yeah, she's by all accounts she's chilling out in New Orleans in her mansion somewhere, just being generally very cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the direction. I get what you mean about the symmetry. Like it still needs and it still needs a rearrangement. And
Yeah, and
again,
I think my issue is I kind of just before I sent these away, I think the sort of foreground, the sort of three big lily pads, I think there's maybe just a perspective issue where I need to just
yeah,
flatten it slightly so that it's kind of in keeping with it. Because I did this card happened over the 2 weeks, so I sort of did the background before we did the podcast last week. And I think I've maybe just I've misconstrued the perspective. So I need to go back and kind of just
yeah, the perspective looks
flatten out the
better in the
details.
sketch. So you're probably right. Like it looks better in the sketch. They're sort of flatter, and that'll probably fix it. And then you can kind of look at how, if the lotus itself or the lily needs to be bigger.
Mm.
Like the main one probably doesn't once they've flattened out, but you actually might end up having more room to do so. But yeah, it's great. I think it's really good. Again, it's so weird that it's the King of Spades, but Jennifer wants what she wants.
She does.
I'm super happy with it. I think this is, again, I mean, good, but that good for us. But that's the best. That will be the best ever execution of a lily, just in terms of content ever. Including that surprisingly good possum deck that I shared the other week in the Telegram.
Yeah,
chat.
that's right.
A possum deck ended up picking basically the same kind of high drama stuff that we did. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Wasn't expecting it to be that good. I mean, they went with a UFO instead of the ship, and it did cross my mind, but not quite the right cinematic universe,
Mm.
But good, possum's gonna possum. Cool. So this week is the sun, and not
Sun
my
card.
son Toby, but yeah, but the sun in the sky. And this is one of the best cards you can make a case that it is the best card in the deck, right? So one way I've had it described is the clover is little luck and the sun is big luck, right? So the sun is winning lottery, the clover is finding a tenner on the street. And so it's all the kind of phenomenological significations of the sun. It is light, it is warmth, it's sunlight is the best disinfectant, it's being seen. So there's like, traditionally the moon is a reputation card, the sun is a recognition card, like you are being seen for what it is you've done. And in a wholly positive sense, and that's interesting. On its own, which doesn't happen in Lenormand, it's a wholly positive sense. But speaking, we have to do the snake, because I was about to say,
Oh yeah.
if it's in dialogue with the serpent card or the birds, it might be that gossip comes to light or something. But anyway, we gotta go jump to Michelle, see what's up with that one, and then we'll come back to the sun. Talk us through where we're at with this.
So let's see.
She's a bit of a ghost while we wait for it to catch up.
So there we go. Yeah, I was just basically redrawn the original card. The sort of sorceress lady is, she kind of looked like a stone because she was in shadow, and that was mostly just because it was such a tiny part of a tiny canvas that there just wasn't much space for detail. So we went back in and I was like, right, we can do a bit better on the old Michelle Gomez front. And I was just having fun with that, just sort of getting the sort of posture and the sort of robes and everything. Because I think it's not the main aspect of the card, but I want it to be there as like I want it to be kind of the characters kind of discovered. You'll see the snake first, front and center, and then you'll be like, oh, who's this little creature in the corner?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a version I have of her right now, which I didn't send to you. I'll maybe send it in the Telegram chat, where she sort of morphs into Elle of a Day from RuPaul's Drag Race UK. So, and I am kind of, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if I've overdone it on like the blue eyeshadow or something, but I was just like, let's take that one back a notch.
Yeah, cool. The one you did share, like, it's really Michelle serving neck. Like, it actually looks like her fucking neck. It's quite good.
Yeah.
So and obviously for people, like, this isn't the completed card. You can see she's a ghost and she doesn't have her mesa in front of her and all the rest of it. But it's more just so you can see that, again, lawsuit Lenormand, it's Michelle Gomez.
I think, and I can't remember now, in the initial, I had her wearing sort of a white robe, but did you have a preference for that, or was there any was there an important element that, or color or something?
Well, an ayahuasquera would wear white, so
Right.
you might as well, unless you have a preference, you might as well keep her.
No, but just in case, in case it was just something that was just white, because I couldn't get detail into such a tiny area. But if it's white, it's white. It makes sense, to be honest.
It's got it puts a little bit of lightness into the card otherwise, so I say we stay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, obviously that gets cleaned up. The mesa gets put in front of her, and probably, I think now that we have more room, an attempt to get a little bit of snake reflection in the river would be ideal.
Yeah. I'm going to change this.
Wait, did you just vanish? I could see you, but now I can't hear you.
Or
oh, you're back. You're back.
There we go.
So that was.
Am I now like? Is there still a time delay, or is that kind of solve the time delay?
It's a less annoying time delay. That's true. So that technical difficulty, which had nothing to do with us. All right. So jump back to the snake. What were you going to say?
I want to change the shape of the snake that's wrapping around the inset, just so that it's more visible as the body of the snake. So that'll be something to play with for next week.
I see.
Look, the elements are all there, and I think it's just kind of making time for it. But I think we can get like a bit of a reflection into the river. I can make the river wider, I think, and the farther bank, and that would give us more space to kind of put more reflection detail in, or just like a hint of it.
Yeah, a hint is good, like, because it might look otherwise confusing. But I mean, that's kind of river and snake and whatever, it works. If it doesn't, if it doesn't play well, then let's not do it. But I actually
Yeah.
think, I think it would. I think it would look quite cool.
Yeah. I think when thinking about it last night, I would like to have the sort of not it won't be an exact match, but maybe to have the sort of bend of the snake sort of mirror the bend of the river. But we'll see how that works with like all the other elements we have to sort of consider.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good though. Like Nathan saying in the chat, it's one of his favorite cards. Same. Like I hope this gets picked once it's done as one of the posters because again, it's kind of there's a lot. This encapsulates, I think, politics is such a dumb word, but this encapsulates the positioning of the deck in a lot of ways. It's not right to say it's a feminist critique or read of the serpent card, but it's more a celebration of like the whole story of the serpent card and what it's meant over the last couple of centuries and bringing it in a way because you like in a neo-pagan sense or other kind of disappointing milieu, what they will do with say the serpent in the garden is just say oh, that's sexism, and actually the serpent is good because it's the goddess. And the first bit is correct. It is sexism. But the second bit is not correct because, like, bitches will still steal your man, right? And so what we want to do is have that, like, women and the other women are complex beings. So in this card, it's actually like, yeah. It is sexist to say that the serpent card is the other woman card. So how do we make that not sexist, and how do we actually celebrate that kind of like witch power? And I think we've done that right. Yeah. Like I think Michelle will still come for your man, but by the same token, you have a divine snake.
Like there's been like in fiction generally, there's been this kind of effect by, I mean, like mostly TV and movies and things. There's always this conversation about likable, like the characters have to be likable, and I think just making an unlikable character is interesting, and it has its own volume, and I think that's what we're doing. She's not going to give you a recipe for like a nice cake or something. That's not what she's here to do. She's here to chew scenery and be a huge bitch. Okay, that's just what it is.
It's how I live my life, so why can't she? Awesome. Well, back to the sun. So yeah, success, good fortune. It's one of the best cards, if not the best card in the deck. And from a health perspective, it's obviously vitality and so on. So if you are looking for a health reading, depending on where the sun is in relation to the querent or the significator is important. So it's general. Like if it's a, why am I so tired? Look at what's modifying or in dialogue with the sun, right? Because you're actually asking like, where is my vitality? And the answer is usually like kids or work, both of which are in the deck. But it can do that. Also, in terms of how hard a project is going to be, is another relation between the significator and the sun. So if they're not in good relation, if you're doing a full spread and the sun's behind and you can't really line it up, and the cards that kind of angle in a full tableau spread between the sun and the significator, if they're not good, if it's clouds, if it's mountain or something, it's like this is going to require way more work than you think it does. But if it's in front of you and modified by nicer cards than that, then it looks like you might have a bit more of the momentum of the universe behind you, right? So, it's like, it's a good card. It's being seen. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's the sun. So, I obviously want to take it in a cinematic universe, term I invented direction. So let's, oh shit, I don't think I've set up, give me a sec. I don't think I've set up screen share. I don't think I've set up cunt board yet. So this is going to be black, but it doesn't matter because it won't take me long to find, cunt board in the platform. There we go. All right. Not bad. So what we're going to do with the sun, scrolling down, we got these four options here. Now, this is Inti Taitai, made out of gold. So that's the Inca sun god. And so what we're going to do is have an Inti Taitai. This is the closest to what the card is going to look like. But it's going to have into tai. So it's still going to be that kind of like sci-fi film sort of idea of like arms out to the sun, silhouetted man. I thought about it being Marie-Louise. I thought about it being the rider, but I don't think it is. I think it's someone new. Because I thought there's an opportunity. We put the rider in the tower card. I mean, we'll see what you think about it. But the rider, kind of one of the things I mentioned on the show was on the podcast. One of the Lenormand has more speed and kind of like pace than the tarot, than the trumps, because it's sort of this very sedate parade through high Catholic archetypes. And the Fool doesn't have a lot of forward momentum, but the Lenormand deck announces itself with the surprise bitch card, like, haha, let's go. Like it's the rider. It's someone's, the redcoats are coming, or the old barn is on fire. Like it's big announcement stuff. And we've kind of got her, or them rather, moving through the deck in a couple, like really just the tower card. So see how we go. I like this. There's something kind of creepy about this execution that I sort of want to capture. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Marie-Louise could do this?
I think so. It puts me in mind of the movie Sunshine.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe, which has a great soundtrack, which would go great for this as well, which is probably what I'll listen to as I'm drawing it.
That's the right energy. As when we get to the song, you'll know kind of what I mean, right?
I think she could do it. I think it makes, because she is kind of riding off into the sunset throughout or their appearances, like, and the cards so far. So that could be fun to do. But like,
yeah, all right, let's
would she
fucking do
still
it.
have Raider garb, or
well, that's what I mean. Let's fucking do it. They can be in their
the hat,
like their
could be
Tory
off,
riding. I don't think they have the hat on, but I think they're in their
Right.
Tory riding coat still, because it is. I do want it to be just kind of like silhouetted, more like this. So that was more the shape of the card, but I don't know how we're going to do it with the sort of dimensions of a playing card. But what I like about this one, this glow of the sun.
Well, the inset is it's the ace of diamonds, right? So it's just one. Spatially, there's a lot to play with.
True.
Because we don't have to the way with the man and woman card that I've set just because of the layout with them sort of leaning up the side of the card. I placed the aces higher. So it'll be, if it's higher, then we have more space to play with, basically. Cool. And it would match the other cards. So we've inadvertently played a blinder there.
Yeah, very good. Because what I like about this one, it has that sort of real, speaking of movies, it has the fountain vibe. And I want that kind of, I want that glow, but make it look like Inti Tai at that gold sun disc. And I like the idea of the reflection, but this is a really cool sort of image. The dimensions aren't right for what we'll be playing with, but if there's the way of getting, this is what I see the ground that Marie-Louise will be standing on with their arms open with a bit of reflection is sort of the general idea. What do you reckon?
I like it. It's funny you said the fountain, because my when we were at first discussing the writer, my writer was Rachel Weisz. Like that was one of my sort of Rachel Weisz in that movie where she played like the lesbian courter of the Queen. So she's coming through strong. It's also the only character in the deck that I remember at the time I did like all these different costume designs for. So maybe there was a fixation at the beginning. So maybe that's why that's kind of played out.
Well, then,
because we were going to need it.
That's a good synchronicity. It will be Marie-Louise on as the silhouette. So these two here, this one's like a just a drawing, right? And this is an actual Inca sun disc. I forget where this was found. I used to know that kind of stuff. So this is what that drawing is based on. So I'm giving you both because obviously stylize it however much you want. But I quite like this. I'm not sure. I think I do want the sort of flames coming off it. Not sure, because the flames can maybe not as many as that. But if we go back to this card here, come on, cardboard. I like the idea, and maybe the flames aren't even attached to the sun disk in the same way these dots aren't attached to the central
Yeah.
circle. I think that's what I want, but if they are, we can remove them otherwise. Do you know what I mean? What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, it's got kind of those kind of like a low tech, high tech kind of. I guess that's a silly way to put it, but like it's I don't know. There's a I like the kind of graphic element of like the third image, the fourth image. Sorry, the one with the sort of yeah, that one. I like that. Like I think that plays well, and you can get the glow effect quite well with that. And you can have the you can have like the negative space of the sun disk sort of just be the background, and then that would like give you the shape and forms of like the sun disk. That gives you that kind of that the effect of like almost like it's a I don't know how would you like that like a computer graphic type thing
Yeah,
for
I
the
know what you
fourth
mean.
image.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be, and that could be like a fun kind of what time is it set in? You don't really know because is it ancient or is it sort of super futuristic or is time just a construct because it feels like it for us
Time is a
sometimes.
fat circle, as Tim Dillon
Time is
says.
a fat circle. Um, so yeah, I think that's a interesting images. Oh yeah,
All right,
I
cool. I
think it's
think
I like it. Does it have will this have a counterpart in the moon card or is it no spoilers
so the
obviously because
moon.
we like
It's
to keep
interesting
everyone
you
on their
say that.
toes.
It's interesting you say that. The moon card's going to have. So I have two up. We're once again in a situation with the moon card where I have two options, which we'll obviously keep till next week. That are going to depend on whether you can get. Like we're going to have to fuck with perspective again, and it might not work. So if one of them comes off, yes. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, it's energetic partner because again, it's Mary Louise / Rachel is the tower. So it's going to have that kind of energy, right? And probably that's a good like maybe Mary Louise turns around and worships the sun before entering into the tower. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sort of in that weird. I mean, it's not done
Well,
yet,
it
but
is
in that kind of
the
dune
it's
landscape.
sun. The tower is going to be sun drenched as a sun drenched image, like it's like a sundown kind of. She's in the golden hour
Yeah.
for like light and stuff. So it's gonna like story wise with just with the light, it'll travel through from one card to the other, which is quite cool. Yeah, this has the potential to be another kind of really cool graphic novel dramatic cover because we're kind of setting it up that way. So we shall see.
Very good. Very good. The inset, as you mentioned, is the ace of diamonds. And again, this is like just an obvious, that's exactly what the sun card should be because it's the card of pure brilliance. So that like it's maximum brilliance, and so it's a sun. It's basically as simple as that. Like it's pure brilliance and sharpness. In kind of classic playing card fortune telling, it's the card. It can be a letter, but there's already a letter in the Lenormand. The Lenormand is set in a post office, right? Like half the cards are like you got some news. It's like fucking come on. But it can be like a new insight if it's not like a letter. It's like a idea. It's a brilliance, and so. The inset explains and announces itself.
Awesome. Yeah, someone in the comments had suggested just about the serpent card that they cannot. They're excited to see how the inset plays with the image, and I was like, I literally had that thought, I just forgot. We moved on from it, but yes, I can't wait to see that too. can't wait to see what we do with that.
So I think yeah, which is good because I'm a little bit behind in the book because I had some rune soup stuff to do this week. And that's why I might gonna try and go ham on it in December and cut most other things out. I think the courts are going to take you longer than you think. I think that's your January right there.
Do you think really? Well, it's 12 I
Yeah.
think altogether. So and we have a kind of we left it on a kind of we were trying to do like a stained glass thing, so we'll see, but it may have to be simplified just because it's a smaller kind of thing.
No, I think
But yeah,
I get what you mean. But stained glass can simplify and complexify because it is also a separate
yeah.
standalone deck. So I take comfort in the fact that you have more work than you think you do because I have a lot more work left to do as well.
Well, that's another good thing is getting to discuss them all. So maybe the best thing wasn't to sort of have them develop as we go along, because by the time we get the full view of the insets,
Exactly.
it's its own little Game of Thrones kind of thing. It's its own little
Game within a
story,
game. That's how we
a
do
game
it.
within a game. There you go. So it's maybe more beneficial that we're just keeping it in the ether until we've
I think
sort of
so.
locked down everything.
Don't say lockdown.
Can't
You're
wait for
heading into
January,
January.
guys.
Yeah.
Season 2 of Fortune's Fools incoming.
Yeah. I think they're going to be really good. And I'm actually looking forward to using those in fortune telling just as much because, yeah, playing cards and Lenormand are where I live at the moment. I want the members to pick playing cards as a course at some stage because I think that would be really
Yeah,
fun.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I had this actually. You won't have this because you're a bit more adept than I am. I tried to use a regular tarot deck the other day, and I was like, I've forgotten how to do. My brain is now just filled with Lenormand at the moment, and I was just like, I have forgotten what the fuck. I can do it Camellia style and just say what I see and just just be like kind of an arsehole about it. But I've just like forgotten all the little things that I picked up over the years. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus, well,
They
there we
come
go.
back. Yeah. It's like riding a bicyclist. They come back after a week or so. But yeah, once you like, same. I've barely touched the tarot this year. And even last year as well, but I barely touched the tarot this year. It's just been playing cards in Lenormand. And even in client sessions for energy healing. Which I think our deck, I'm going to end up using that in client sessions as well, may as well. And yeah, it's just, once you've got it to sing, it's sort of like, well, I love tarot and I'm like, will I go back? Not like I'm not going to leave it forever, but I'm just really happy in the kind of like playing card Lenormand world.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I know what you
it's the
mean.
same for me. Like if I look at the tarot again, I'm like, I actually have to think, I have to get back into it the Camellia way or via playing cards. Like I kind of, usually you don't want, this is dumb, but usually you don't want pips in your reading because the trumps are more exciting, right? But now I kind of hope for pips because I'm like, I at least know how to do them. Yeah.
I think
Or
there you go. I think yeah.
the halfway point if you're using Marseille is to, and this is just, you will be, a beret will magically appear on your head if you start doing this. If you just read Lenormand playing card and Marseille trumps, then you are Le Chat Noir at that point. But that's how I keep, yeah, that's how I keep all three of them going. Is if I feel like playing, if I feel like tarot, I just do, again, it's a real Camellia, well, and also all her teachers as well, but like it's a real Camellia move to say, I'm just going to use the Marseille trumps. So that's how I do it. But yeah, I know what you mean. You go, what is this shit? When you throw the cards down, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I'll see how the world looks in 2022, 2023. Maybe I'll get back into like a Rider Waite situation and feel it out again. But once this one is done, my plan is to like use it solidly for as long as like I just get sick of looking at my own work, because sometimes that can happen. So like once this is like printed and in my hands, like this is going to be the deck that I will use. Deck DECK, because I know last time there was some translation issues there.
Which is unfair. You're not
That is my
Kiwi.
plan.
Yeah.
I know.
Cool. All right. So we're on to the song.
Yes.
Now, when in Q2, when the premium members did planetary dialogues, we did a series of astrological dialogues correctly for the sun. Because it was my idea, Let the Sun Shine In was the song, because it has that joy, and it's the right song for the sun astrologically. It's that just pure joy, right? Ode to Joy was on the shortlist. And so it sort of works here, but maybe with the treatment of our card, where there is a little bit of that movie sunshine, there's a little bit of a kind of the fountain feel. So Let the Sunshine In is one of my songs, but the actual one is Max Richter on The Nature of Daylight, because it's like a nicer version, a happier version of the fountain. I was literally going to use the whatever that hero track from the fountain is. I was actually going to use that because I kind of wanted that same sort of energy, but it's a bit too melancholy. It's magnificent, but it's a bit too melancholy for the sun
Clinton
card.
Mansell probably, I think, did the fountain because he does all
Yeah.
What's his face's movies.
Yeah. And it's magnificent music, but it's not right for this. It actually could be right for the moon if people wanted it. But I went with On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter. What did you go with?
Great of Love. Let the Sunshine In is great. Also, Age of Aquarius. I think that's the version I found on Spotify. It has like it's part of like it splits between Age of Aquarius and Into Let the Sunshine. It's the same band.
Yeah.
I was like that as a trip back to an era that I didn't think I had lived through, but apparently I might have. Max Richter, great, like love Max Richter, like that's if what you can hear, like I think he did the Leftovers soundtrack
Oh, yeah.
years ago and all that kind of stuff. But he is great. I went for the sort of victorious upbeat vibe. I went for On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons.
I think
It's just about overcoming and kind of succeeding and achieving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really good, really good.
Is
And
the
it's
reading
funny,
of the
like
card, probably.
it's not a band I love, but I can't think of a band with at the moment with like a better name. Like I want to love Imagine Dragons because it's such a good fucking name for a band. And I don't dislike them, but they just never like, yeah, interesting. It's such a good name. Anyway, good for them.
One to save for. Yes. Good for them and their millions and millions and millions of dollars of music finance.
All right. So homework time. What are you going to do this week?
So what are we? We are going to we're going to fix up the Lily card just so that it's kind of in the perspective is all sort of in line with the foreground and the background. Make sure it's all kind of organized in a way that makes my stupid brain sort of makes it pleasurable for me to look at. Finish the serpent card because all the elements are now kind of in play. And I've got enough time and information this week, I think, to do it. And do the sun card. Like this, I feel like it's going to be a relatively detail wise. There's two elements, and then the floor, like the ground. So it's not going to be filled with detail, which is quite good. Which means it'll be impactful and it'll read quite clearly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. Should have mentioned that. That's exactly what I wanted. And like.
And I think maybe I decided during the podcast that the cloud card was a redraw just because
that's true.
We're in a different zone now. So I think maybe just start bringing together the elements of that. And I'll tease that in the Telegram until we're ready to kind of discuss it here.
Nice one. And feel free to serve Michelle's neck as well. But like that, you described the card in a way that I probably should have when we were talking about it, which is that like, so Inti, as a being has the word T in it, which is light in technically Quechua, but like ancient Inca. And T, and that's what Alberto would say is that's why they worship the sun. They're not actually worshiping the sun. It's a worship of light. And so the sun itself was kind of seen as sort of almost like a hole in reality where pure light would come through. So what you just said about like, it needs to be an uncrowded card where you just need to be able to see this sort of burning orb of pure light is where we're going with it. And I definitely want to. It's one of the cards that people I think sleep on in a tableau, because in a tableau you are a messy bitch looking for drama. You're like, where's the snake? Where are the mice? Where's the twink? Like you're looking for like you're here because you're fucking your neighbor, aren't you? Like you're in here for the drama, and when a card is just kind of like boringly universally good, people sleep on it a bit. And I think we want to dial ours up just to remind people that, in fact, this is a good card.
That sometimes good can be also dramatic.
Chantel's got a good point. This deck has great neck. So the snake card and the heart card and so on. And there is yet more to go.
Oh, yeah.
There's yet more to go in that. That's all I will say on it. But no, that's cool. Well, it sounds fun. And again, thank you for everyone who has been in the chat. And if you want to know more, again, you're only getting half the story if you're not in the Telegram chat. Although it has been quiet the last couple of weeks. But then we have been busy. We'll have to throw more stuff into it. But yeah, another good show, ladies and gentlemen, and Marie-Louise. See you next week.